Welcome to another episode of For the Culture. Y'all know who I am. I am Wop Wop Wop. I'm Henny on the rocks. Hey! Hey!
Who got the glass?
That was an old man move there. Yes. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the show. And to my right, always, she's nice and tight. Did that again. Is the CSO.
Hey!
And what that CSO stand for?
Chief Straightening Officer.
They've already found out. They've already had a little experience today. Yeah. She straightens it out. She keeps us nice and tight, and we love her and appreciate her. And of course, the Queen is sitting on the throne.
Queen Cuts!
Her name Keisha out. Hey, Keisha out. Listen, we got a show for y'all today. Oh, baby, when I get to popping that tongue, y'all know that thing about to be good. Spicy.
Woo! She do it real loud.
Yeah. So listen, we got some VIPs again. So when we thought of this show, we thought the need to talk. Look, we try to bring it to y'all. We try to talk to y'all about conversations that for some might be a little hard, maybe a little uncomfortable. That means it needs to be talked about. If it's too easy, it's not. So we want to talk about things that's going to make you possibly better, educate you, and you do what you will with it. So one of my buddies, one of my friends, family, is Mr. Reese Dickerson. I can't believe he acting like this right now. But anyway,
Hey, what's happening? What's going on?
We're so glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. When I made the call, you jumped in, and I knew who to call because I knew he would be honest.
Yeah.
I knew he had experience, and I knew he was going to take us where we needed to go. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to pass the torch to the Queen for her to introduce her friend and our other VIP, beautiful expert.
Wow.
Okay, so first,
I love that.
we can start with the top.
Yes. What about that hair though?
I don't even need to tell y'all who did that.
Can y'all tell who did that?
Keisha.
Yes, Queen Cuts and Keisha. Keisha though, yes.
But her name is Andrea Lowen.
Hey, Queen. Hey. Give me the hand for Jesus. Give me the hand for Jesus.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you and all the beauty and the radiation that's going on. Yes, Queen, we are ready. So guess what, y'all? Ooh, I gotta tell y'all something. Ooh, baby, guess what we talking about today? Interracial dating. Woo! It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Or do it. Listen, I think since I've gotten, since I've gotten older, what love is love. If you would have caught me 10 plus years ago, I would have had a whole different answer for you. But I thank God for change. I thank God for evolving. I thank God for God. I thank God that I know God. And I know I've been changed. I can't sing, but I know I've been changed. And I'm thankful. So at this phase of my life, at this particular point in time, because I am a single woman, please send all resumes to Henny on the Rocks. However,
wait a minute, mine in my bag. Hold on.
Listen, if I am approached by a man from any other race, we can talk. We can talk. It doesn't. I'm not exclusive. I am not locked in and saying I only have to date a black man. That's me. I don't have to anymore. I used to, but not anymore. If I'm going to date someone of another race, as long as you don't call me the N-word, we're going to be okay. But if you call me that, then we're going to have to talk. So, I want to toss it to ladies first.
Thank you.
So, if you would please introduce yourselves and just give a little background of who you are and how did you get into that realm of interracial dating as a beautiful black queen?
Okay, so, hi, I'm Andrea. I've been living my life for Jesus since like 2003 for real. Like hearing his voice and knowing to move from Birmingham, Alabama to here in Jacksonville.
Is that where they hit swinging chairs at?
That was Montgomery.
Oh, okay.
swinging chairs.
Okay.
Yeah. Birmingham, first 48, they kind of go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh, yeah, South Carolina Mason.
Yeah.
They would have been swinging more than chairs in Birmingham. So, yeah, kind of hood, kind of. And then I hear God tell me I need to move to Jacksonville. Now, my background was everything black. My high school, my middle school, everything that I did was amongst black people. Now, when I went to Alabama, that was still I'm going to only connect with black people. And so when I moved to Jacksonville and I met my husband, I wasn't expecting that whatsoever.
So you met your husband in Jacksonville?
I met him in traffic in Jacksonville.
Girl, what street?
We on Lane Avenue.
I used to live on Lane. I'm gonna have to go over there.
You know how they
Okay.
ride down Lane Avenue? Well,
Okay.
that was about 20 years ago.
Hang out
never
in
mind.
Walmart. That's all you need.
Never mind.
No, just hang out at some cigar bars and stuff. You just never know what you might pick up there.
There she go.
You see Henny's face.
I see your face. Anyway, so listen. I had not given thought of being in a relationship until my husband came along. When we were in our dating and courting phase, I didn't realize we went to the same church until after I met him, not realizing he was in the same church traffic, coming out the same church that I was.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I don't know how much background you were looking for before you start asking, but I was not looking for, I didn't realize I was open. In my mind, I'm thinking that if I had a lineup, all the men in the lineup gonna be black.
Yes.
So when you say I'm open, it was because I was open to even entertain him when he approached me.
And your husband is
White.
okay.
I've had somebody say, "Is it Cuban? Is it no, baby, Lily."
Not Lily.
Okay.
Okay.
He's German. He is white.
So let me ask you this. The very first time that the two of you met, how did he spit that game to you, sis?
Oh, he from the street though.
Oh,
I can
no.
say it.
Oh,
I know her husband. I love him. Yeah.
My husband is rather hood. So
Oh, wow.
that's why I was
Yeah.
like, I let my guard down.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this.
Girl, you like about to put that thing on you like that? Baby.
Number one, when he cooked for me,
Yeah.
because that started the whole like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe this.
But my husband is from like Sacramento, but there was some having to stay in the projects in there.
Yeah.
There was some poor.
Wait, he lived in the
Poorness.
project?
There was a moment in time where they
Wow.
had to live in projects. They've lived in different types of housing.
Okay.
But he grew up rather poor.
Okay.
He was real skinny. But by the time he came to me,
Baby, you put them college greens on him?
he put them collard greens on me.
What? Oh, what? Okay, wait, this is gonna be so good. This is gonna be so good. I got so many questions right now. How the heck did that happen? Wait, don't answer that. Don't answer that yet. I got a lot more questions, but wait. Let's back it up to the moment that the very first time he approached you and said hello.
Again, dude had swag, and I was like, this is different. But when he walked up to me, I was like, you that dude that called me out in traffic.
Oh, so he had done that prior to.
That was us meeting in traffic, and I just remember his face.
What did he
called
do
me
in
out
traffic?
I was okay.
What was
I'm
those
wa-
words?
Yeah.
So I'm driving, but we're kind of like at a light, and my windows are down when I'm used to my windows being up, and I'm singing.
Oh, okay.
I wish you happy feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Jam it.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Come on, Frankie.
And he says, "Hey, singing girl, sing it."
Oh.
Embarrassed. And I drove off.
Okay.
But we were kind of doing this because we lived like from where the church was, still about 10-15 minutes away.
Okay.
We lived off of the same main block.
Okay.
And so we were kind of doing this in traffic, and I was like, I hope this dude don't think I'm following him.
Uh-huh.
And he lies and tells people that I follow him in traffic. But when I saw him, like, later on that week at church, I was like, you that dude that called me out in traffic. And I couldn't help but notice him because he is 6'6", white guy, blue eyes, walking out of an all black church.
Oh, he hobo. Okay.
He's standing out like a
Love
Yeah,
it.
you head and shoulders over everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, you over everybody. And so I was like, you that dude. And so we stood there and we talked. And I told him about my experience here in Jacksonville. But when he this is when we used to have to give folks our phone number.
Yeah.
He had on a piece of paper, he had wrote his number down. And he said, I'm a grown man. You can call me whenever. I live on my own.
Oh, I love that.
Well,
Okay.
he's confident.
Okay.
And that was so refreshing.
Yes.
It was so refreshing to meet someone who's confident and not afraid to step to me and have a conversation.
Right.
And so I think, sometime like a couple of days passed and I was like, I thought about calling him, but I figured it was too late. He said, girl, I told you, you can call me whenever. I'm a grown man.
So did you call him?
I did not until I saw him, and then that day we ended up having a 7-hour date.
Oh, I love that.
And where most people are thinking, I need a man that's gonna take me out to eat. I need a man that's gonna take me to these these 4 and 5 star restaurants. I need to our first date need to be at this real expensive place because I need to know how much he willing to spend on me. But he don't know you, and you don't know him.
They need to open up their minds.
And so in my mind, based on what my dad had taught me and what my mom taught me about men or charming men, you don't buy me with a meal.
Of course.
And so our first date, we went to the movies. After we left the movies, we went to Friendship Park and we talked. And that's when he shared with me some stuff that I guess he was thinking I was going to be like, because he was divorced before. And I was like, that's all you got? You got children? You got,
Okay.
You got baby mamas?
You got what?
You got children? You got baby mamas? Because that was going to be my line in the sand. But when he was like, no. He's like, my family kind of, they look off. Okay, so is everybody else?
Yeah.
Right.
But they're in California, so it does make things easier.
Yes.
Right.
Facts.
But when he and I left there, we went to Baskin Robbins Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
And we had ice cream and coffee and stuff. And we just sat there and we just talked.
So let me ask you this. When you were on that date, in your mind, were you thinking, I'm on a date with a white boy?
I think when we were on that date, I thought, this is a cool guy to talk to.
Okay.
I've never put in my head, this is going to be my future husband in a date. In a first time date, I think sometimes we women, especially depending on how long we've been single,
story.
Yes, indeed.
we want to know, are you going to be my next husband? It's like, no, I'm just talking.
Right.
Talk.
Right.
And so we ended up talking, and then fast forward 2 weeks later, I found myself talking to him way more often and desiring to talk to him.
Yes.
Way more often. And I had gone to Birmingham to visit. I'm walking inside of a party. I got on these little hoochie shorts. I got on this little hoochie top.
Just hoochie.
I'm walking into a party and I tell him about this uncomfortable situation I may face. He said, well, let me pray for you.
Oh, that was it. That was it. That was it. That was it. Let's set a date right now. Let's set a date. Baby, when you got a man willing to pray with you and for you,
That is scary.
yeah. Love it.
And then when I went in that party and that thing that I was anticipating actually happened, but it worked the way God wanted it to. I needed to apologize to somebody when I was ratchet.
Okay.
And I saw that person and I apologized to that person and I was like, man, this dude, not only did he pray, but it actually happened. That's cool.
I
Yeah,
love
breakthroughs.
that.
I wasn't used to nobody praying for me.
Yes.
I wasn't nobody
Yes.
licking hoochie. So, I know. So when I came out of that party and I'm still on the phone with him and everything, he's talking about how he can cook.
Yeah.
Right.
I know that's what I prayed for, but can you
You're
cook?
thinking green bean
Yeah.
casserole.
Okay.
Don't cook me some collard greens. Did you hear me say he from Sacramento, California?
Oh God.
With raisins. Yeah.
Wow.
He did not put raisins in my collard greens.
Yeah.
But he cooked me some collard greens. He had marinated me some chicken for 24 hours.
Wow.
He made that meal with love, without loving
Yes,
me. But
yes.
he wanted to eat good, and I'm willing to eat good too. I love you, man.
Yeah.
But that meal,
Right.
I said I do.
I know
I
that's
do.
right.
I
Yes.
do. And that was 2 weeks
Yes.
in. That was 2 weeks in.
Wow.
So how long did y'all date before you?
So I told him, don't propose to me without knowing me for at least 6 months. And he did it in 5. I thought he did
Oh
it out of spite.
wow.
But he had already had a conversation with my mom and my dad. He and I already knew where we were. And he was also the type of person to say, a man knows what he wants in a lot shorter period of time.
Yeah.
So when people drag out these relationships 5 and 10 years, he knew he didn't want you. And he strung you along.
Yes, indeed. That's a lesson I
But
learned.
he was not willing to do that, and so we just talked so much. And 5 months he proposed, and we married in 10 months of knowing each other.
Wow.
And next April we'll be celebrating a 20-year renewal.
What?
Yeah, I remember.
Girl, you don't even look like you're old enough to be married for 20 years. Come on, Queen.
Don't get us
Yes. Oh my God, that is amazing. You're making me want to cut my hair too.
I
So
love it.
listen, I want to switch over to this male
Yeah.
perspective.
Wow.
I cannot wait to hear about Mr. Reese. Now listen, as a black man,
Okay.
you date who you date.
Yeah.
Others, whoever that may be,
Yeah.
your business. We are not judging
Yeah.
by a long shot, because you let one walk through that door. Ice, baby.
Hey,
Dum, dum,
hey,
dum, dum,
hey,
dum,
hey,
hey, it's on the top.
All right,
Ah! So listen,
Yeah.
when you okay, so let's just make it clear to the audience. First of all, you are comfortable with dating all women, even those who are not brown skinned, or am I?
My experience has been, my dating experience for the most part has been dating white women.
Okay,
I mean, my entire experience long.
so even through your adolescent years in your 20s,
I
and all that?
I dated this black girl here and this
Okay.
woman here, but anybody who knows me know I love heavyset white women, and
I got one. I got one down. Yeah, baby.
that had been my habit. It had been my pattern. That's the woman I married. I've been married once. She was a heavyset white woman, so it was just where I was.
Okay.
People asked me for a long time. They said, "Well, what's wrong with a sister? Why you gonna date a sister?" And at one point, I said, "Well, you know what? Y'all don't want me, so why you worry?"
Wait a minute. That is not true.
I want him to explain that.
Watch. In my experience, because I'm dealing with self-esteem issues. I'm dealing with
Okay,
self-image issues.
okay.
So I'm just gonna short, skinny dude. Anybody say
I don't see none of that, but okay.
No, I'm talking about when I was, when I was
Back
young.
then, okay.
So that helped, that formed that. And
Okay.
then when I, moved from, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the bottom, 45th Moncrief.
Okay.
I'm hood. I tell people all the time, don't let my articulate speech fool you.
I know that, right?
I can throw hands.
You keep that hood at bay,
Uh,
but don't let
yes.
it fool you. It'll come out when you need to.
Don't let.
Yes, it will.
So, right, exactly. Be like, you know
I
what?
like that.
I throw chairs.
I throw chairs.
Well, listen, we ain't throwing that.
We ain't throwing that. We ain't throwing that when we've been here.
Okay.
But that's and then after I spent my formative years in the hood. I grew up in Falls Temple Church of God in Christ, 24th of Moncrief. I grew up in the bottom. We ate raccoon and possum and turtle. So I grew up poor.
Yeah.
I grew up on the dump site. Fast forward to 14 years old, I went to Douglas Anderson School of the Arts when they opened in 1985. So I was one of the only black students there. So I'd been exposed. So now I've been exposed. My horizons have been broadened. And being one of the black kids there, and because I sang and did whatever, all the white girls liked me. All the white teachers liked me because I spoke articulately.
Yes,
Because so that kind of helped form that and shape that, and that just become my pattern. Now, here's what I've learned as a 53-year-old man. That was a broken part of you.
Ooh, come on, Pastor. What? Ooh, I love that.
It took me talking to my 35-year-old daughter, Kiera. I love you, baby. If you're watching, your daddy loves you.
You got a 35-year-old
I
daughter.
have a daughter who's 35. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So I started early. My God.
Have I met
I
her?
was experimenting.
I
Here,
think
you
I met
make
your
it.
mama.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was experimenting. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was
You didn't
doing.
know what you was doing?
I lost my virginity to my mom and she got pregnant. I was like, well, God, amen. But, so, that, y'all, that's too much. Don't tell my pastor. So my oldest daughter's black. Her mother's black.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So yeah, my oldest daughter's black. So and I fell in love. Oh God, I was in love with that woman. She's the most beautiful thing walking the planet to me. But it was having a conversation with my daughter, and realized that our relationship had been fragmented and da-da-da. And she said to me, she said, "I wanted to know why you loved my biracial sisters and brother more than you did me. You gave them more attention than you did me because I was a single dad for almost 9.5 years after my ex-wife left."
Mm-hmm.
She said, "And I forgive you. Maybe it was just he didn't know how to like a little brown girl."
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So I sat back and I said, "You know what, God?
That's innocent
It
pain.
is.
Yes.
Yeah." So for her to say that to me,
Yeah.
that hurt me as a dad. But as a black man, it said, "Wait a minute, go back and look at that. My mom was black.
Yep.
My grandmama was black.
Yep.
My sisters are black. My aunties are black. The woman I grew up around in church. What is it?" So I realized after praying and just doing some, I'm in the process of healing. I'm in the process of dealing with this broken part of me.
Mm.
I wanted to be better than what I was, so I went to what I thought was better.
Oh.
Thank
Woo!
you.
Wait, say that again for them in the back.
you.
Okay, like down that was deep. Say that again. Say that again.
Alright,
Say
so
that
I
again.
went to I wanted what I thought was better because
What you
all
thought
what I
was
thought was better because all I saw was on TV. I saw family ties and all.
Yes,
That's all
yes.
we saw on
Blonde
TV.
hair,
because
blue
so
eyes.
growing up,
Yeah.
that's all we
A
saw.
white
Yes.
woman's beauty.
That's all.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
the standard, right in America.
Yes.
But they never showed my mama because my mama was one of the baddest women in the
She
city.
is. Hey, Mr. Dickerson.
Hey, mama. Hey, Zelma. I love you. So, but I wanted what I thought was more. So I chased that. I studied opera in college. That was my major in college. So I'm an opera singer. I'm singing classical music.
What?
I'm
Now,
in
I didn't know
theater.
that about you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in theater. I do all of those things that little black boys don't do.
That we call, excuse my French, we call that white people shit.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what black people would call that white people shit in a minute.
So right. And
In a minute, we'll
I'm
call
finna-
That's
that.
a white.
And listen, so
That's
I,
a white.
Yes.
I was called, and I'll be real. I was called, want to be white, race against my own kind, sissy, faggot.
What?
Went to high school, I was at Douglas Anderson. So the end of my 11th grade year, going to my senior year, I decided to just go to summer school because I didn't have nothing better to do. So I went to Rains High School.
Okay.
I'm saying, went to Rains High School. Me with my dumb self, I wanted to be trying so hard to be something else. First day of summer school, I had on jeans, a long sleeve shirt, and a sweater around my Carlton Bank.
Okay,
And
yes,
they gave
yes.
me the business.
I know they did.
They gave it to me. Listen,
know they did.
listen,
With all that on.
I'm finna go into Jesus.
It was hot.
But again, I wanted to show that there was something more. That aside, dealing with the whole, wanting what I thought was better, I realized, you know what, this ain't all to black people. This is not all about because northern black folk don't do things and see things the way we do. So I'm getting culture from that kind of thing. So anyway, that being that, my dating habit has been dating white women, and I've realized, not saying that my desires have changed or what I look at and I like changed. I just realized that, you know what, you was broke and you was out to make yourself feel better about you.
Goodness gracious.
So how did that?
That's some
How
real
did that
talk
keep
right
your
there.
preference? I mean, because it sounds to me like you found answers in all of this, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But in there,
Okay.
now that you recognize what the issue was, if we're gonna call it,
Yeah.
now that we recognize that, now how do you go back and say this is my preference versus I date who I date?
So that's what that's great. So I've had to come to, you know what? It's just my habit, my preference. It's just what I do.
It's your preference.
It's so you can't. This ain't got nothing to do with you, sis. You can't give me a skinny woman. Tie $1 million to her.
I told y'all that.
Well,
Of course you are.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
and that hair.
Oh,
That walk. I
oh,
love
the
it.
stomach holding in. I'm over here.
I'm about to pass out.
I think that will always be what it is, just because it is what it is. So it's just what it's been.
So do you think you are, for a lack of better words, do you think you will ever in the future date another black woman?
Oh,
or
yes.
this is okay.
Oh,
But she still gotta be thick.
Oh, she can't be scared.
Thick.
Is she?
Give you my number, and I call that thing, and the
Listen, me and him at crabs together. I know how we get down, huh?
Listen,
I know.
we know juice all down your arm.
Wait a minute.
What?
You got something on your arm, hold on.
Stop.
But so that's just that's my thing.
Okay, another question.
Talk to me.
So you mentioned earlier, you prefaced your conversation with you had friends and friends ask you, and I'm going to ask you the same question. As far as when you see a black woman, do you say, "Damn, she fine," or when you see a plus size white woman, do you say, "Damn, that's my boo"?
That's what I'm talking about.
Keep it real.
Go ahead.
No, keep it real. We ain't judging. We love
So
it.
I'm gonna say this about
Yes.
what happened when I walked in.
Okay.
There is nothing like being in the room with black women that are this beautiful, and I mean that serious. That's not for the camera. That's just real. Because that's how I walk in. I'm like, God, God,
He did. Yep.
you don't have where y'all at?
Yeah.
Where y'all been?
Yeah.
I'm sitting at home talking you know. I'm like, where y'all been? My God. I'm sick of these rednecks. Jesus,
You better watch your mouth, baby.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're about to be on the
Anyway,
couch.
Let's not forget the preference.
So listen. So I'll tell people, I have been from the top of the world to the trailer park.
Yep.
I've seen and done it all.
Yep.
I have. So like I said, I'm gonna come back to. I realized that was a damaged part of me. I'm realizing. I'm asking God, listen, whatever that was. I had a conversation with my pastor, and I'm open enough. I tell my story. I don't mind. Because somebody needs to be healed, somebody needs to be healed. So it doesn't matter.
Amen.
Doesn't matter
Yes.
what So I told my pastor, I remember, just going through this healing process. I sat one day and God started revealing some things to me. God, what is this thing in me that's just broken? And I told my pastor, I remember having a conversation with myself as a 9-year-old boy. I'll never forget it. I'm gonna make all y'all women. And I'm gonna make y'all mad at me because of things that happened to me as a young black kid. White men have done to me. I'm gonna date all your women, and I'm gonna have sex with all your women, and y'all gonna be mad, and they ain't gonna want none of y'all white men. So all of this stuff that I've asked God to expose and expose to the sun, the SON sun, and dry up so I can heal. Stuff that I'd forgotten about. Stuff that I had said to myself, and my pastor was like, "Oh wow." So now I'm going back and undoing all that and addressing all those things. Is that what it was?
That's
Was
hard.
it that I'm just out to get back at them, and this is just what I like now? So it's a road.
Wow.
It's a road, and I'm.
Is that completely what it was, though?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean that was, but, and I don't know. Well, no. Let me say this. I don't know.
Okay.
Because that's something that came about me that I'd forgotten about. That was buried. I didn't remember that. And I'm laying in my bed one night, and it was like I sat straight up and I just started screaming, "God, what is this?"
Was it because you were dating white women?
Or was this because your daughter asked?
No. This is pre my daughter saying that. This is
wow.
me asking God. This
So
is me wanting to be healed.
This is been,
Right.
like
This is-
riding you, or is it the stuff
So what?
that you're crying out about, or it's
I've
not
been
about
asking God to
dating
heal. I've been asking God to heal
Heal.
whatever
Yes.
is broken here.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Yes.
Whatever part is
you
broken
realize,
here.
yeah.
Yes.
Because I realize that's something. No. I'm always wondering about why am I not enough?
Yeah.
Why is this? Why am I chasing this? Why gotta go and be the loudest person at the party and have validation and have why?
Yes.
So I'm asking God. I'm walking through this healing process, and this has been a couple of years. But I remember this one night in particular. I'm laying in my bed, and I mean, out of nowhere, that came up. I sat up in my bed and I started screaming. I got up and just walked around my house.
Yeah.
God, what is that?
it's good you stuck with it though. That's the most important thing.
You know, I'm not gonna run from that.
Yeah, that healing journey is. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm still on mine
Yeah,
too. And
yeah.
some days it'll have you in the corner in the fetal position.
Listen, I'm
Like,
serious.
well, oh yeah, for real, for real. So I'm gonna ask a very candid question.
Big time.
Black woman, white woman, what's the difference?
Right. See that right there.
Look,
Like,
amen.
all that. All
He
that
laughing.
right there. All
Good
that.
night. I love you. Oh my good God. Really hit it. Okay.
So you've had relationships with both.
Yes,
with,
yes, I have.
and maybe you've had some others. Maybe you had some Hispanics. I don't
I
know.
have.
What's the difference when it comes to dating life?
Oh God. You know what I'm realizing now? Ain't nothing like loving a black woman. Listen, because even with their traumas, even with our traumas, even with I ain't talking about Ronnie, Ronnie, don't call my phone late night, bro.
Okay.
Don't be calling me, bro.
Tell what you touch me, though.
He know that his wife. She
Right. Right.
She
So,
got
but,
it.
you know, I found out that even when I was in my junk,
We've all been there.
your love gonna say, I'm not dealing with that. Get it together. Whereas white women, Reese,
Ooh, you're about to answer a question I've
Yes,
wanted for so
Lord.
many
you
years.
know, Reese, well, maybe if you think about,
More rational.
you know what I mean? But when somebody loves you enough to jack you up and tighten your shoestring and say, hey man, listen, all right, listen. When you feel better, call me. Love you mean to click and hang up in your face. That part. So that is
You hit different.
it just hit listen. It hits different. And
I bet it does hit different.
wait a minute.
Hey.
And to have somebody grab you and touch me in your face and like talk real close and kiss real close. Come.
So
Sorry,
listen.
Europe, I'm going back home to Africa.
So you would say the difference is that unconditional, hardcore love that we offer to you gentlemen.
It's just love.
Okay, but hold on now. That's not saying which one is better for you. That's just, I mean, cause she's saying, like, you're saying this, but honestly, I don't really think that, that's one scenario.
Okay.
One scenario cannot make the difference like that.
It doesn't.
So it has to be more to that as to make you say there is a difference. And I actually, let me just say this, I appreciate you and how you're telling the story, because most black guys, they come across very negative when they explain it.
Yeah.
They automatically go in defense.
Yeah.
See, sisters, they just too
Yeah.
They talk too much. They too loud. And they always argue. Listen, so here's what I had to go back to. What reason am I giving you to argue? It's my responsibility to carry you and carry this relationship. It's my job to make this a safe place so we both can fail and the person that hurts me heals me.
Yes.
That's my job.
Right.
That's
Pastor.
my job. That's my
Just
job.
said all that last
Yeah.
night.
You know, that's my job. So
Absolutely.
I've learned not to go there because that was my argument for a while. This is too loud.
And that's why, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that is deeply offensive.
I was just about to say that.
It is
I don't think black
deeply
men
offensive.
realize
Right.
how offensive that is for y'all to sit in our face or on the phone, however, even on social media, typing it out. You don't know how offensive that is for you to say that.
And then you go down this list. See, that's why I don't like black women. And
Yeah.
that's why.
See, that's why I like that.
And the thing is, it's just like,
So you
there
don't like your
are,
mama.
if we want to talk about it like that, there are just as many things that aggravate us about brothers.
Yep, a whole
You know
lot.
what I'm saying?
But we ain't out there saying that though.
See,
But we're
and
not out there
right.
throwing the brother under the bus, saying that's why I prefer. Because even as Andrea tells her story, she's not saying this is why I prefer a white guy.
Because I ain't got no preference.
Right.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's, if you like what you like, we can respect that.
Absolutely.
But don't throw us under the bus just to make your point.
besides
That's
what
very
you're doing
To make yourself feel better
Absolutely.
about the choices that you've made.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Now, you know what I found very ironic was when we were searching for a gentleman, and I shared this with you, when we were searching for a gentleman to come on the show and be open and honest and forthcoming as you have been, it was amazing. Well, it was funny to me. It was funny how every black man except this one, they want to.
They wouldn't.
So you bold enough to date them, to marry them, to smash them, whatever you do, side pieces, they paying your car note, they buying your car, whatever it is that you're doing.
Or come in here and say what you would have said.
Right. So you're bold enough to do that, but you ain't bold enough to sit here and talk to us about the choices you've made.
Right.
You a coward. You ain't real.
Yeah.
Come at me. If you have anything, that's how I feel. Y'all can do all that talking. But when we ask y'all to come and just sit here and talk, as you see, we ain't bashing nobody.
Right.
We're having some respectable adult conversation.
Yeah.
They ain't
Because
want to
he
have
know
nothing
how
to do with
to
it.
actually conduct himself and
Yes,
explain
and he does.
for a better understanding. Because honestly,
We're not
I came in here.
chasing
Right.
Yes.
I came in here and I'm just like, because I have this thing. My theory is I don't understand how sisters, not
Yeah.
sisters,
Mhm.
sisters. I don't understand how sisters go so hard for black men, and black men catch it the hardest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're the first ones to say bye.
Yes, indeed.
I came with that understanding.
Yeah.
But honestly, you know, listening to you, I have a better understanding.
Yay.
Because
All right,
it's
Reed,
not-
you
it's
touched
not-
one.
It's not from an insulting perspective.
Yeah.
It's just basically telling your story.
Right.
Yes.
And again, we as men, and I say this because of what some things we're dealing with in my family. I won't expose that, but what we fail to realize is the headache and the heartache and the trauma and the bullshit. Excuse my language. That sisters go through.
Right. Right. Right.
You all
Sometimes
have
on the daily.
carried. You have.
Yes.
You have.
Right.
watch
On the
this.
daily.
You have carried us
Mm-hmm.
when we didn't know how to carry
They
ourselves.
took all y'all junk.
Right.
You took our junk.
Yep.
Mhm.
When your sons are in jail,
Yep.
I'm going down there to see Peanut and Pookie,
Yeah.
Ray Ray
I'm gonna
them.
put some money on their books.
I'm gonna still put some money on their
Uh-huh.
books.
Yes.
You know they're guilty.
Yes.
But
Don't
you
forget
gonna
about
see
that.
them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
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 Forget about that
Elron all in. Yeah. You know, I watched, you know, and I watched my mother do that with her father.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was her dad's only child. He spent 7 hours in her life in prison.
Oh, dang.
But we went there and we saw him, and then when he came out, she was right
Right there.
there.
Like, hey,
with
Mr.
him.
B.
When he got out of jail, at the time I was playing jazz saxophone. He was a sax player. He was a visual artist. Took us drove right to Placa
Mhm.
every other weekend to meet him, to see him, and to get to know him.
Wow.
So we don't.
That's
we,
what that
we-
sister did.
Right. So we look past that.
Yes.
I looked past that.
Mhm.
Yes.
I was guilty of that. I flaunted that. I used to talk about, well, we went to this restaurant, we went to Grape and Grain, we did, you know, so the things that are typical. Because again, I love Grape and Grain. Listen, who playing over there tonight? So, I did all that stuff. But I'm at a point, and thank you all for having me, because this is cathartic for me.
Yes, absolutely.
This gives me an opportunity to be challenged by sisters and say, bro,
Okay.
what? Why
Yeah.
not us?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What about all
Well,
this?
you
Yes.
get all
You know.
respect for even sitting
Absolutely.
I appreciate
here.
it.
All
I
respect.
appreciate it.
All
I appreciate it.
Wait, and I'm gonna get back to you, but I got so many questions about the black man and the white woman. And listen, so
I'll answer before you ask, because I know where you're going.
okay, so there's this thing that we have in the black women. Most black women, we know, and we think when we see a black man with a white woman,
She doing things that we ain't gonna do.
he weak
Oh wow.
because
That's
he's
right.
not willing to put up with what we have to offer.
Oh, wow.
So he went to the white woman because she'll.
Let him
Okay,
do what he wants.
you want to have
Wow.
a girlfriend?
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
you want me to buy you a car? What
Oh,
kind you
But
want?
that's also been the thought when a black man has a preference for heavier white women.
Yeah,
He
That's
he
true.
can treat her as
That's
a just
Doorstep.
doormat and just walk all over her.
Yes.
And I know that's not true.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's not true,
And that's
but
why I
that
want
is
you
the
to explain that.
perception.
Yes, it is
That is the
perception. Absolutely.
It's not my perception.
So
Just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking.
okay, so when we talk about, and I'm talking about brothers, black men,
Yes,
we
yes.
talk about, well, y'all talk too much about. Let me tell you something. They crazy. They talk too much. They have a tendency to speak to their families and talk to their families. Their parents become their peers at a certain point. They talk, what? I don't want to. Wait a minute, you can't talk to my mama. You can't never talk to my mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if
Right.
I don't straighten you, my sister's going to put their hands up,
There's
it's
no
gonna
doubt.
be a lot of problems.
Oh
Talk to
yeah.
my mom crazy if you want.
Right.
Yes.
That's my. You
Yeah,
realize
we got
that's my mama,
different
right?
perspectives on a lot of
Okay.
stuff.
Yes. Okay.
So that happens on that end. So let's dispel that myth that white women aren't as
Aggressive.
aggressive.
Yes.
Will say things with the sole purpose of hurting you.
Oh yeah.
They still live with that privilege in the back of their head, even though they got a
indeed.
black man. I'm
Yes,
telling you
indeed.
what I know. They still live with that, and they will say certain things.
Not the N-word.
They don't go that far, but they will act in ways as if they still own you.
Superior.
Yeah.
It's still
superiority.
stuck there. Now you've been with brown black people all.
So is it because she's a white woman, or is it because she's a woman? Because women.
She still has the. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say she. I'm dealing with that.
Well,
I'm still.
talking about a woman.
Listen,
He
no,
talking
I
about
said she.
somebody.
Right, I'm like, oh God, wait a minute. Shh, be quiet. No, but so it's my experience has been that white women still bear that. Now that's not to knock white women to say that they're terrible. No, we don't. I didn't just date heavyset white women because I can treat them like a dog and they still don't come. I told my truth. If you ain't a size 14, at least 12, 14, we can't talk about
So
it.
do you think there's any truth to what I mentioned about?
There
why-
are, yes.
Okay.
There is, because I watched brothers do that. And I've
Ooh.
told brothers, I said, listen, these ain't the problems you want. You don't go get no white woman just because you can and you feel like
Yes.
that. No, bro, listen to me. Please take it from me. These ain't the problems you want. Because she gonna say some stuff at the house. She gonna say some stuff while y'all dating gonna make you want to put your hands on. And some guys
And
have.
she gonna tell her daddy.
And she gonna
Guess
tell
what?
daddy. You know what I
Call
mean?
the cops.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh,
just-
all the
Oh.
cops.
Oh.
Good for that.
Yes.
Good for that. Or look, or be brazen enough to call your parents and throw you on the bus to your mom and daddy, and then say, "I'm scared of him." You weren't scared when you was
Yeah, I was about to say,
but you weren't scared when you was in my bed last night.
My
Wait.
sister would do that until it's right there.
Wow.
Yeah, call your family and be like, "I'm scared. This is my truth."
Oh, well, then they become
Well,
the
you know
victim.
what?
I mean, that's where you're
I
gonna
will
lose
say
my
any
parents.
woman who is manipulative
Yes. Yeah.
will do
Right.
what you
That's-
just
that's what I'm
described,
saying.
black, white,
Yeah.
and in between.
Yeah.
Right.
They
I
will
agree.
do that if they are manipulative.
Yeah.
And so it's like as I hear you describe certain women, it sounds like maybe just maybe there's a place in you that's attracted to certain type of people
Crazy women.
Listen,
that pull out
you
the
are
yucky.
exactly right. I have been, and that is, thank you
Okay.
again because
You're working on it.
I have.
You
Work in
working
progress.
on
I
it.
have.
Yeah.
I've dated this particular type of woman because I didn't feel like I deserved this type of woman. So I stuck with what had become my habit,
Yes. Well, you were comfortable.
where I was comfortable.
You played it safe.
And I wasn't challenged to do more and be more and say, bro, wait a minute now, come on now, you ain't the most beautiful thing on the planet, but you ain't ugly by no stretch. Bro.
Yeah.
Why is you dating?
Yeah.
She can't even speak on your level. You can't take her to New York City and talk opera. You can't talk literature to her. Because I'm very well read. That's not being braggadocious, but I am. Why is you still going back and dating these old random women?
Yeah, I'm really curious because I just
Because that was a broken
what you
heart.
just described.
Yeah.
There is nothing in me, and that's what I felt like I was able to meet my husband on the intellectual level. There is nothing in me that finds attraction in a person that I think is less intelligent than I am. If you don't stimulate my mind,
Right.
we can't. I don't care
Yeah.
if you the finest thing walking on
Yeah.
the planet.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how were you able to be like, I know I can't take this woman to the places that I am called and destined to be, but I'm going to drag her along anyway.
And that's what I mean. That's what I'm dealing with right now. And it is just what it is.
That's right.
It is what it is. Because listen, I mean, listen. I'm at a point in my life, and to every brother watching, we have to come to a point in our life where we got to deal with our issues. I know the places I go. I know the things I do. I know the reading that I do, and I've shortchanged myself. It's been a disservice to my daughters. It's been a disservice to my grandchildren, my grandsons, because I've set a precedence that it's okay to settle for less and be dissatisfied and unhappy the whole time.
So have you ever dated elevated?
Oh yeah. Oh,
I mean,
had my
it
date.
sounds like
I'm gonna put that on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm finna date elevated. Yeah. So yes, I have. And the woman I should have married, I did not.
Yeah.
Is this a white woman or a black woman?
She's white, but listen, she's the only woman that my family my dad don't like nobody. As you, we did white women. When she walked into my life, my entire family
Fell in love.
loved her, and
Wow.
yeah,
But how did you
But you did.
feel about her?
I loved her
Right.
with everything I had.
No, you-
So
Okay, so here's another. Okay, so watch. So here's another vulnerable point that I'm willing to share. It's not the story, but I was on drugs.
So you said with everything I had, and you mean with everything I'm capable of.
At this moment,
At that moment, that was you. That was what you was capable of doing.
but if she called my phone right now and said
Stop.
say
You'll leave right
yes.
now. You'll leave
I
right
know
now.
you would.
out.
I know you would.
I got somebody
You'll walk
You know,
right out.
you know who she is. I'll tell you later after the show.
I
I'll tell you later.
only know so many here, so
Oh no, when I tell you, you're gonna be like, for real?
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and she got a whole black name too. First, middle, and last.
Oh wow. Okay.
When I used to say her whole name, they're like, she white? Ooh, white. Yeah.
Oh, say that about Rodney.
Right.
Oh, your
Rodney
husband named
Lowen.
Rodney?
Rodney Lowen.
Hey Rodney. Hey. So listen. Speaking of Rodney, I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked this gentleman here. Obviously, you dated black men, and now you're married to a Caucasian man. You married to Mr. Lilly. So, what is the difference that you notice from your experience with dating both?
So keep in mind that this is what I've known for the last 20 years. For me, a major difference would be
Take your time.
I'm thinking, because his family is all white. A lot of them were racist. It's
You're
different.
racist or are racist?
I've seen changes in every single family member.
Oh wow, that's
That's
wonderful.
good stuff.
And it's I used to dread, I'm sorry if y'all watching this, I used to dread, they know, when I would have to be around them. It would be emotionally draining, but they were a group of broken people.
Wow.
And it's like when I first started dating my husband, and my mom was like, well, if he calls you a nigga, then what? I was like, if he disrespect me, period,
Right.
then
Right.
what? And I think sometimes we'll get stuck in this place of racism being the worst thing for us,
Right.
but if he disrespect me, period,
Yeah.
I don't want to rock an orange jumpsuit if I don't have to.
Right.
You
You
would
look
rock
cute.
it.
You look cute in that suit.
I'm so in love with that. I'm so in love with that.
I prefer to wear the cute orange juice in my closet. I'm the one that's
Okay.
issuing my presents.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's faded.
But I feel like
Wow.
I had to get used to the cultural difference of his family.
Yeah.
But I keep saying thankfully. I'm sorry. His family is all in Sacramento, California. So we only see them ever so often.
Okay.
And so even though I knew all of them had this, y'all don't know enough black people for me.
Yeah.
Y'all don't love the way we love.
Yeah.
I don't. You see the nostril.
Yeah, I
Nostril
do.
is flared.
I do.
And it was this push and pull 15 or so years ago with the family. His mother lived with us.
Okay.
And she did not think that blacks and whites were supposed to date or mix.
Wow.
That's a new issue. But when I tell you that I've seen that, and this is, I've seen the hand of God in our family transform. And when I say our family, me and him and our
course.
four walls, I've seen the transformation of others. Because my grandfather, if you cut him off in traffic, it's because you're a hunky or a cracker.
Oh wow.
he used those words interchangeably with all white people. He couldn't stand white people, but when he met Rodney,
Oh wow.
it was a different story. I don't think I heard him say hunky cracker, whitey. I didn't hear him say any other. He wouldn't call him that. That's too nice. He was like a black version of Archie Bunker when talking about white people and Mexicans. But he would not do that anymore after meeting Rodney. The amazing thing is, when my grandfather passed last year, Rodney went up to see him as soon as we got into town. That was the last and best conversation that my grandfather could have had before passing.
Wow.
It was with the white guy that he loved so much.
That's good.
And so I've seen our family
Make a shift.
me and him cause a shift in others. I've raised my nephews who are white, half white Mexican. I've had to basically help raise my sister-in-laws because the way you're parenting is not of a loving way that I'm familiar with. So let me show you how black women do this.
Okay.
Right.
I would, when I had her son, I'd snatch him up and we looking eye to eye. He got this black woman love when he lived with me, and I saw that change and fix him. And so it's hard for me to describe what I would have been missing being married to a black man. After seeing so many things change in a spiritual atmosphere, like so many people in our families are saved. Watching that occur has been my main focus. And so it's difficult to say what's the difference between dating a black man and dating a white man. My husband has also had a proclivity or a preference of black women since high school. Like he knew that's what I want. I didn't know that until I met him and was like, you know what? You different.
But certainly there is some type of difference. Like you have dated black men and you dated this white man.
But
So-
when thinking black and white, my husband is always around black people. My husband might as well be a black man with white skin.
Okay, I got you.
So there was a moment in our marriage
So
one
there was
time
no
where I said,
difference.
as a black woman,
Basically.
you don't know how I feel. But as we sit here, as a black woman, he don't know how I feel either.
Right. But is he more willing to understand how you feel versus the black man, or is still not a difference because you still dating people?
He's willing to understand what makes me tick. He's willing to understand what irks me. He's willing to. But I guess like my dating life was so ratchet, especially in my 20s, it was a little on the ratchet side, that I could easily like just kind of dispose a guy. Like, you are so disposable. If I was in college, when I say you were so and so I didn't ever have the chance to full on meet someone the way I've spent 20 years of my life with this husband who is always surrounded by black people. He go to church, black people. He work around a bunch of black people. He come home to a black woman.
He's just a black
loves
white
my
man.
family. He called my mama. Hey mama, this your favorite child.
Okay.
And so it's, I know that you all are thinking of a difference, but for me, if I turn that light off and it's just me and him, ain't no difference.
I know that's right. Ain't no difference if it's. But anyway, speaking of light off, we're gonna have to turn this one off because we always tell y'all we ain't trying to spend the whole night with y'all. People got places to be, people to see. But before we go, as we always do, we like to give our guests, our VIP guests, final thoughts. Ladies first. Final thoughts on anything. You got the floor right now, sis.
So I want to speak directly to everybody. When I say, if you are single and you say, God, this is what I would like in a mate. These are some things that I like. Make sure those things are character traits, because that's going to be constant. I realized after I met Rodney, that he met all the things that were on my list of like 6 or 7 things that I shared with God. And when I said, but God, he's white. God said you didn't ask for him to be black or anything else. And I said, you're right. And I say that because sometimes we go in with this preconceived notion and then we meet somebody that is exactly what God wants for us in our life. I don't think we have just one person out there, but we'll meet somebody that fulfill the things that sing to our hearts.
Yeah.
But because they're not in the package we asked God for, or what we failed to ask God for a particular package, and he gave us the package that we could work with. And we shut that down and we miss out. Don't miss out. Be open.
Yes.
Be open.
That's so real. Mr. Dickerson, you got the floor, brother.
Again, thank you all so much for having me. This has been helpful. I want to say to the brothers who are watching, to the brothers who chose not to come because you did not want to put yourself in a situation that may be uncomfortable. Learn to be vulnerable. Learn to be transparent. That's going to uncover a lot of the issues that you deal with that you won't face about you. It's time that we heal. It's time that we step up and be men. Being a man doesn't necessarily mean having money and taking money to your house.
What? Facts.
It's our job to bear the weight of the relationship we want to be in and not the other way around. It's our job as a provider. That's how God established it. It's our job. Not saying that women are any less equal than we are. They are our equal. They're not our servants.
Yep.
We're no better than they are. It is our responsibility to make our space, our relationships safe for them to fail and to heal them. It's our job.
All right, listen. I ain't got to go to church Sunday. Queen, what you got?
Well, I appreciate being educated. I appreciate being challenged in my thoughts.
Yeah.
From both of you. You know, Andrea, I know Andrea, we talk about this a lot. So I know her story.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think you enlightened me more because I didn't know your story, and I've never actually had a black man to explain it like you.
Yeah.
Never.
Wow.
And I'm 52.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Agreed.
I'm 52 and I've never had a black man to explain it. And little do black men know, we understand better.
Right.
If you explain it and stop
That's
just attacking us to
Mm-hmm.
lift yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just be open to explain why, because we literally want to know why. You know, because a lot of black women are left thinking that something is wrong with them
Yes.
Right.
because of what you want to do.
Right.
You know, so I appreciate both of you for coming on and being vulnerable and telling your story and getting us to understand. You know, like I know that, you know, Andrea is married to a black white man.
Okay. See, so what you got?
Well, I also appreciate your stories. I have been enlightened. You know, I usually am the quiet one, but that's because I'm listening, I'm soaking it in, because I'm just like, wow. Because for me, I have been enlightened, as Andrea has said, to, you know, maybe not really see color for everybody else.
Yeah.
Because I personally want a black man. And I say that because, and I mean no offense, no harm, nothing. All people are beautiful. I love everybody. But for me, I need that black man. I need that man, you know, to love and support and hold up as that for me, again, as that king that I see him to be. You know, that man that knows my struggle, that man that, you know, has that ancestry that has also been where I have been. And they're just beautiful to me.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not.
There's
Absolutely
nothing
not.
wrong with that.
That's why I've just kind of been taking it in and listening, because it is beautiful to know that, you know, she wasn't prepared for that.
Right.
You know? Because, and I know God has a sense of humor. He does.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, I just think it's a beautiful thing, and I love your vulnerability.
Yes.
Because you have literally explained for me what it is.
Yes.
You know, and even
And it
if
makes
it's
sense.
and it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And even if it's not an all or nothing, it just gave me more understanding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. You know.
That is definitely my takeaway is, again, your vulnerability educated me, and you realize a lot of them just dumb and don't know better. No, just kidding.
We're hurt, we don't know how.
Right.
That part.
It just,
But you're not allowed.
it just proves that men deal with hurt as well. And also something he mentioned earlier, about he did what he did at the time, fixing that. How did you word it? At the time you did it because that's who you were. That part. It just proves that yes, men do have feelings as well. And when you mentioned about being good enough, I have never in my life heard a black man say, I'm not good enough for that type of
And
woman.
I'm glad we haven't recorded, because you probably would never.
So I appreciate you. And I'm so glad that God placed you on my heart when we knew we wanted to have this show. I knew you were the one. I said it. I said I got to reach out to him. So I'm thankful. Thank you.
Can I leave you with one thing?
Yes.
Don't ever say you're colorblind. And that's to the white
that's
people. Don't
so
ever say that.
insulting.
That is insulting,
That
because
is
that means
very
you have to look past what I am to make you feel better about you. Don't say that.
Oh,
And that's what I'm saying.
Now we gonna end it on that note right there.
awesome.
From Deacon Dixon. Amen, amen, amen.
Yes,
Okay. The doors of the church is open. Please send all offerings to. No, just kidding.
Right. Hit on the rocks.
Okay.
Hit on the rocks ministry. They
Okay. Hit on the Rocks Ministries. Listen, y'all, we hope you guys learned something as we did today. We hope you are more open than what you were. We're hoping that the perception, especially as women of color, the perception we have had about black men dating the white woman, and the perception of, ooh, a black woman dating a white man, all them thoughts, we got to get rid of that, sis. That's just done and over with. I'm telling you, because as I mentioned before, you let Vanilla Ice walk through that door and say, hey, can I get your number? 777-9311. Hey.
I'm putting it on the top. Thank you.
Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
We need Reese to sing us out of here.
Okay.
Hang up your worst inhibition.
Hey.
I feel a little bad if you slap my face.
Hey.
Oh, baby, what's your phone number?
Yeah. Kill him with the shoulders. Get him.
I love
Kill him,
it.
Kill him with the shoulders.
Oh,
On time. Shoulders.